How's it going, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Q85A, which is Samsung's new Neo-QLED, and we're going to talk about why it's different. So the Q85A is a part of Samsung's new flagship models, and basically what they're here to do is to compete with that OLED quality. Now, the reason that this picture will differ from your typical QLED pictures is while it is still quantum dot, it is using micro LEDs instead of its typical fully backlit panels. Now, there's tens of thousands of these micro LEDs, which is kind of similar to OLED, although OLED has more. So this will be pretty close to OLED, but not quite there. And there's other things to look forward to in this TV as well. Now, with it being backlit by these micro LEDs, tens of thousands of them, you're able to get a much brighter picture than you would with any of the lower models. And I think that it definitely shows in very colorful situations because it allows for that contrast to be very bright and dark, make sure everything pops out. And that's one thing that I think is really good. Now, this TV does come in a variety of sizes. You've got 55, 65, 75, and 85. Unfortunately, they're not giving it to us in our 70 and 50 inches that we saw with the other QLEDs. And this is most likely just because this is a new line and they want to test it out, see how well it does, and see if it can hang with the big dogs. Speaking of the big dogs, they call the HDR in this Quantum 24X. Basically, that's just saying, hey, look at me. I've got a lot of bright colors and I'm better than your standard run-of-the-mill low-end TV. Let's talk about the stand. Now, this is the same stand that we saw on the Q80, which if you haven't already, be sure to check that video out. Link will be in the description. But basically, because these are higher quality TVs, they require more components and it's just going to be a little bit heavier. So you want to make sure that you're not putting it on cheap plastic stands. And this one, we got a nice metal base, just like the other one. Same kind of design, and just goes to show that they're not trying to cheap out on parts. Now, also when it comes to design, something that I don't know if they did this on purpose, but I did notice that there was a difference between the AU8000, some of the lower models, and the higher models. And what I'm talking about right now is the ports. Because of the way that the ports are sitting, it makes it extremely easy to get your hand behind there and plug in, see what you're plugging in, especially if you have it mounted or you just don't have a lot of space. I noticed that with some of the other models, some of the ports are on the back end of the notch, and it makes it really hard to find them and plug it in, especially if it's wall mounted. So I did appreciate something just as little as that they upgrade or at least think about in the higher end models. Now, as far as audio goes, I can actually sit here and tell you that it is better than most TVs. And I don't typically like to push, TV audio as the one be-all, end-all situation for your home theater because, quite frankly, most speakers in TVs are downfiring, so they'll hit the desk or they'll hit the carpet, whatever it is, they'll get diffused because they're downfiring. And so I think the only real solution to that, if you want to have better TV audio, would be external speakers on the side, which they don't do that anymore. They only did that with the DLPs. So with these flat screens, what they're actually doing is pushing the audio through the stream. And this is a 70 watt 4.2.2 channel audio system coming from the TV itself. Now, this can be used as a center channel if you wanted to, if you already have that surround system. But I just think it's an interesting take on audio and definitely sounds a lot better than some of your lower end TVs. Now, let's jump back to the ports real quick. We have 4 HDMI ports, one of those being 2.1, which I know a lot of people are looking forward to. You do have eARC and 2 USB connections. Right now, this demo is playing off of a USB, and as you can see, it looks great. Not to mention, it does have Bluetooth and a LAN port, hook up to the internet. Pretty simple. Optical audio is obviously on this TV as it was on all the other QLEDs, and that's for your sound bars and other stuff that you do not use. And lastly, you can control the IP, so you can hook it up to your Control 4 system. And also, this is compatible with your Google Home and Amazon Alexa. Now, before I talk about anything else, I'd just like to mention that the color that you get at the brightness that you get in this TV is quite impressive, especially when compared to lower models like the Q6 or even the 8000 if you want to go that low. I feel like it pops a lot more, and you definitely get a lot more brightness as to where sometimes you could maybe not see as much because the screen was too dim with some of the lower models. So I definitely think that there is quite a big jump in picture, but you'd probably want to look at them side by side to know the difference for yourself. Now, we have to appreciate the little things when it comes to the TV world, and Samsung is great at that. Now, one of the things that will shock you, and it shocked me when I first learned this, but the new QLED remotes actually come with no batteries. What? No batteries? Are you kidding? Definitely not kidding, but there are two ways that you can charge a remote. Now, the first one being a solar panel. It's got a mini solar panel on the back of the remote, which is crazy. I've never seen this before. If you leave it out in the sun for probably like an hour or something, you're going to get charged for weeks on, and I'm not really sure exactly how long it lasts because I haven't done a stress test, but I'm sure it lasts pretty long because right out of the box it hasn't failed me at all. And if you really wanted to, you could charge it with USB Type-C, which we all know is the best way to charge things. So it was just a really cool feature to see that they added to these remotes, and not to mention that their slim, sleek design. Samsung's pretty much stuck with this design. I feel like they don't really want to deter too much because it's easy, it's simple, it looks great, but you have your Amazon Prime Video and your Netflix hot buttons, so you can go straight to your streaming apps, along with some voice control and other options that you can press as well. Now, last thing I want to talk about is 4K Ai upscaling, and this is something we talk about a lot here because a lot of the TVs that we sell do have that. So the AI in 4K Ai upscaling actually stands for artificial intelligence. And the reason it's artificial intelligence is because what it does is it takes a smaller video and turns it into a bigger video, right? So if you have a 1080p video, you're watching it, it looks great, right? Then you put it on this 4K TV, there's a lot of missing information, a lot of missing pixels. So what it does is it actually predicts the pixels that we're missing from the 1080p into a 4K so that it looks even better on this TV than it would on a 1080p TV. Now, there are still quite a few 4K TVs that don't have this feature. So again, it's going to help make everything look better, whether that's your, movies or TV shows from, earlier on where they didn't really have 4K. But most everything now is being filmed in 4K, so I wouldn't worry about it too much, but it'll make anything look good is my point. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys got something from this. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them below. Please hit that subscribe button. If you're new, we're almost to 1,000, and that's our next goal, so we appreciate the support, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and visit Walts.com before your next purchase of electronics and ask for a custom YouTube coupon code. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and if you have any questions, leave them below.